The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. The Interior Department is supporting the move to close cemeteries in Metro Manila during Undas. In today's Laging Handa briefing, Undersecretary Jonathan Malaya said the move will prevent mass gatherings. Recall that the Metro Manila Council earlier passed a resolution urging LGUs to temporarily close down cemeteries from October 29 to November 2. Malaya says they leave it up to the LGUs to decide whether to follow similar guidelines.
Sinusuportahan po namin yung kanilang desisyon na isara ang mga sementeryo ngayong Undas. Tama po ang mga mayors na mas maganda na wag na muna tayong magkumpul-kumpulan sa mga sementeryo.
National Police Chief Guillermo Eleazar has ordered PNP unit commanders to assess whether there is a need to deploy additional cops in and around Metro Manila. This is after the capital region had been downgraded to alert level 3 status. A number of people flocked to various public areas like parks, malls, and churches after restrictions were eased. Because of this, Eleazar insists the need for continuous enforcement of minimum health protocols in the region. He is also reminding the public to continue staying at home unless it's absolutely necessary. And the Philippines is now in the safe zone in terms of COVID-19 bed occupancy. Octa Research Group also sees daily cases declining to below 5,000 as early as the end of October. Gregorio with the details.
The Health Department reminds the public that the pandemic is still a threat, despite the government's easing of some restrictions this weekend. This comes as incidents of crowding in various areas in the metro, such as the Dolomite Beach and Divisoria in Manila, were reported. Metro Manila has been downgraded to alert level 3 since Saturday. 633 additional Delta variant cases have been detected in the latest run of whole genome sequencing for September samples.
Kailangan maalala pa rin natin, nandyan pa ho yung virus.
Based on DOH data, all regions have shown a downtrend in the number of daily new cases. The average daily new cases in the country has been continuously dropping since its peak at the start of September. Compared to more than 10,000 cases from October 6 to 12, the DOH has now recorded a 7,700 average in the succeeding days. In Metro Manila alone, the average daily new cases is now at less than 1,500 a day, compared to 5,700 during its September peak. With this also comes a drop in death average, as well as a slight easing of healthcare utilization. The Philippines as a whole is in the safe zone in terms of COVID-19 bed utilization, while in moderate zone in ICU bed utilization. NCR, on the other hand, is in the safe zone for both COVID-19 and ICU bed utilization.
When we did our shift in policy, nakita ho natin na paikli nila yung detection to isolation. Napuputol po ang transmission sa community, and that is the key.
Octa Research fellow Guido David earlier told One News that daily cases may reach 5,000 or less by the end of the month or in November if the downgrade continues. Reproduction rate in NCR has also dropped to 0.57, but with the recent increase in the mobility, the DOH warns against super spreader activities.
Let us all remember, nakasalalay po sa bawat isa sa atin kung tayo po ay babalik uli sa alert level 4.
But Hedges says the agency will need at least a week to make an initial assessment of NCR's situation. For News 5, Gregorio, we are One News.
We'll be back with more stories after this quick break. Stay with us here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. Basis Conversion and Development Authority, or BCDA President Vince Dizon has tendered his irrevocable resignation from the agency. During the Senate hearing on the BCDA's proposed budget for 2022, Executive Vice President Eileen Zosa confirmed that Dizon's resignation took place last Friday, October 15. Dizon, though, will remain in Duterte's cabinet as Deputy Chief Implementer of the National Task Force against COVID-19. And the Health Department reports over 6,900 new COVID-19 cases on Monday. This is the country's 8th straight day of daily cases falling below 10,000. This has also brought total infections to 2,727,000, some 68,800 of which are still considered active. 86 more people died of the virus overnight, bringing the death toll to over 40,700. Meanwhile, total recoveries have gone to 2,617,000, with over 19,600 new survivors logged in the last 24 hours. And out of the 54,000 tests conducted, 13.3% yielded positive results. Preliminary results of a research sponsored by the U.S. government shows that mixing vaccines raises as much or even more antibodies as using the same shot as a booster. Let's hear more from this Bloomberg report.
Got some data yesterday that seems to suggest that actually mixing and matching is a good thing. That if you've had AstraZeneca or a J&J, getting a Pfizer shot has a really big impact.
Yeah, so the study yesterday complements what we've already seen from the UK. The UK had two separate studies that reported, focused on the AstraZeneca shot, with followed by Pfizer shot, because those are the ones that we are using mostly here. And that was only 2 doses. So 1 dose of Astra, 1 dose of Pfizer, 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 Astra, and the best was a dose of Astra followed by Pfizer. Now what we got yesterday from the US was, well, what about Moderna? What about Johnson & Johnson? Remember, it's 1 dose. So, of course, what ended up being the case is that when you look at antibody levels, if you give an mRNA vaccine, a Moderna or a Pfizer, to a person who had 1 dose of J&J, they get much better antibody levels than if you just gave them a second shot of J&J. Now, timelines, you need to wait maybe a bit longer for J&J.
Yeah.
Whatever the answer is, this seems better.
But Sam, if I'm not mistaken, what you're talking about is a traditional kind of vaccine and then your mRNA as that booster. What happens if you already got an mRNA? How do you mix and match?
Yeah, so for that study, they did have a group of people who had either the Moderna or the Pfizer or the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. In the 2 groups who had the Moderna or the Pfizer, whatever vaccine you gave them, they got a pretty good boost. Obviously, Moderna, because it's 3 times the dose that of Pfizer, gives a much bigger boost. But in fact, what I think is when you look at the totality of the data, remember, vaccines also need to be safe. Nobody wants a vaccine if they get knocked out for 2 days every time that they take it. And the Pfizer-BioNTech was the safest of the lot in that study.
Let's take a quick look at today's other top stories. Government is looking to expand the alert level system to other LGUs outside Metro Manila. The Health Department says they're already in talks with several local governments for the implementation of the alert level system in their areas. Former senatorial candidate Florin Hilbay has resigned from Aksyon Demokratiko, the party now led by Manila Mayor Isko Moreno. Hilbay also endorsed a presidential bid of Vice President Leni Robredo, calling her the better candidate this elections. Olympic gold medalist Heidelin Diaz is now engaged to her coach and boyfriend, Julius Naranjo. Naranjo popped the question with a custom-made engagement ring featuring a barbel with a diamond on top. For more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. Masks on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. I am Sean Yao. We are One News.